Good evening and welcome to Conversations with the Candidates on Houston Media Source TV. I'm Gene Preuss with the League of Women Voters of the Houston area. And on this broadcast, we're very pleased to have candidates from District C. We'll have the opportunity to pose questions to them, and we'll get a chance to know them a little bit better and about their positions on the issues affecting their district and our city. So for the first question, we're going to go right to begin with our first candidate over here, Mr. Sean Marshall. You have 2 minutes. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're the best candidate for District C.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for not only hosting this forum, but also the valuable service that it provides to our city with our elections and our political system. I have long been a reader of their publications and really leveraged that to make decisions with voting. I grew up here in Houston. I'm born and raised here my entire life. I went to U of H for my undergrad and got my master's and my MBA from Rice. I'm a proud father of 2. I have a daughter who is 11 that just started at Black Middle School, and a son who's 8 who is continuing to go to Garden Oaks Elementary. We own a home in Candlelight Plaza, which is in sort of the northern part of the district. And with that, I think that, based on those things, I have not only the business acumen, but also the critical thinking skills necessary to help the city and the district solve the challenging problems that it currently faces. I feel like I would serve as a prudent advocate for the district and help it to be able to solve problems like infrastructure, flooding, Proposition B. So again, I really appreciate you all's consideration and time today.
Thank you. Candelario Cervantes.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I am Candelario Cervantes. My pronouns are he, him, his, and él. I share my pronouns to be as inclusive as possible. I am a National Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Executive for one of the largest educational equity nonprofits in the country, and I've had the privilege of building my career on elevating the voices of our community. I've been focused on building national coalitions and national partnerships to solve large problems, from working in DC on policy to working here in Houston to open up educational opportunities for all community members by connecting them to our amazing institutions. And in the process, I've been able to help connect a lot of the institutions together to have a greater impact. I am the changing face of our district, and I understand the needs of our community. I come to Houston from Wharton, Texas, and to attend the University of St. Thomas, where I was one of the first in our family to attain a bachelor's degree and the first in our family to attain a master's degree, an MBA. And I'm still paying those loans, so I understand that pressure. But I've also had the privilege of launching my career here in the district and had the opportunity to work with many institutions here in District C, from starting to working at the Museum of Fine Arts Houston in development to shifting into international business development at Memorial Hermann, and then going to Rice University, where I started my career in educational equity, where I helped launch an MBA program for aspiring school principals. And it was there that I found out about Teach for America, where I had the privilege of serving as our National Director of Commodities and Procurement, and then serving in this role as one of our national DEI executives. So I want to bring these skills to this role because I truly believe that this role can create the conditions and the infrastructure so that every single one of our community members can reach their full educational, social, and economic potential.
Thank you. Shelley Kennedy.
Hi, I've been serving the great folks of District C for many years. I have been serving on many different boards, nonprofits, transition teams, and been commissioned by the last 2 mayors. Mayor Anise Parker had me working on recycling as she brought that out. We might need to revisit that and do a little work there. Mayor Turner has appointed me to the Independent Police Oversight Board, where I have close knowledge of the relationships and challenges between our community and the police officers. So I believe I'll be able to help with positive change there. Things that you may need to know about me: I'm a policy wonk and a budget geek, and I'm a coalition builder. While not being elected to a public office, I've been elected to Senate District 15, Senator Whitmire's district. For 2 terms, I've served on the State Democratic Executive Committee, and I'm ready to serve the people of Houston. I love the people of Houston. I love District C. I live in Garden Oaks. I have a family, 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and I'm looking forward to it. Shelley Kennedy for the people.
Thank you. Michelle Gans.
Yes, hi. I'm Michelle Gans. I have a vision for Houston, and I envision the future of this city to be inclusive, to be diverse, and to have equal access to the city for everybody. I think it's important we have visionaries, and we elect visionaries, not just candidates. If our city wants to boldly move into the future, then we cannot continue on the current path. We just can't, y'all, for real. We usually elect lawyers and business people, and those are the candidates we expect. But those are not representative of everybody. We need representatives that actually reflect everybody in this city. We need to elect regular people to public service. We need more regular people. We need new ideas and a different approach. I've done many types of work in my years. I've worked 2 to 3 jobs at sometimes trying to make ends meet, you know. I know the same struggles that everybody else goes through because I am you. I go through those same struggles, y'all, for real. Currently I'm a student at the University of St. Thomas. My wife is a waitress and a bartender at a local restaurant. I'm already working for the city, for the people of this district. I have reached out to the other side of the table, and we are going to be working on a quality ordinance. Also, I just want to say, come on, everybody, let's join me in this movement, and let's take our seat at the table. I've got my folding chair ready, y'all. Let's take our seat at the table.
Thank you. Greg Myers.
First, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm Greg Myers. Currently, I'm CFO of Kickstart Kids, also an adjunct professor at the University of St. Thomas. I happen to receive my undergrad from Texas A&M University, my MBA from St. Mary's, and a doctorate from University of Houston. This is an important race. You know, when you think of city government, it's things that impact us really on a daily basis, such as safe neighborhoods, the condition of our streets, and just ensuring that the trash gets picked up on time. Unfortunately, the city's failed to live up to their end of the bargain. We continue to see trash that's not picked up in a timely fashion. Our streets are littered with potholes. And we've seen budget after budget passed that's not been structurally balanced. We have a choice this November. We can continue down this path of status quo or elect someone that has had experience, that has brought tangible leadership to the city of Houston. You know, I think the next critical issue that's facing this council is budget. If we don't focus on core critical needs and services, everything else, such as important issues like flood mitigation issues, infrastructure and public safety, are going to be very difficult to attain. Now, I had the opportunity and honor of serving on the Houston School Board years ago, and in 2010, I led a bold approach to close a $100 million budget gap. I could have taken the easy way out and raised taxes or cut services or lay off people, but we implemented a zero-based budget and made sure that those dollars went directly into the classroom. I want to bring that solid leadership to bear on the city of Houston. I look forward to talking more and look forward to earning your support.
Thank you. Rodney Hill.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for allowing me to come and be a part of this, participate in this event. I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. I was recruited to the Houston Police Department in 1976 out of college over at LSU in Shreveport. I started working in 1976 patrolling the streets of Houston, and since 1976 until 2 years ago in 2016, I retired after 40 years of service with the Houston Police Department. I had an incredible career. I had a SWAT position that I tested for and got and had for 10 years. I promoted to sergeant, went to Westside. I had young police officers that I was able to mentor. Most of them are running the Houston Police Department right now, and I have good contacts for that. I have been, I set up the first computerized system for the street gang unit that I managed and when I went to the Criminal Intelligence Division. And from there I went over to the FBI and I ran the Joint Terrorism Task Force with the FBI for 17 years. And I was the sergeant that got through the 9/11 and took care of that issue. I have been solving problems. I have been helping people. I got a good heart and a kind soul, and I love people. But we have lacked in this council race because of the money that comes in here and all of the influence of the big the contractors and the engineers that take away the ability for our council people to make decisions for the people in the district. And I'm Rodney Hill, trying to be a councilman for District C.
Thank you very much. Bob Nowak.
Good evening, and thank you for the invitation. I'm Bob Nowak. I am the City of Houston webmaster now in my 21st year, and before that I was hired by the Chief of Staff of Mayor Lanier. For my entire career in public service, I've always worked with and among the highest levels of city government and their staffs. I've done the websites of 4 mayors and all their divisions, 2 controllers, and 62 council members. I have served the people who serve the people, and now at the end of my career, I want to go from behind the scenes to the front and serve all of us in District C. And I don't look at this campaign as an expected reward for a quarter century in public service. I'm going to concentrate on budget, transparency, and neighborhoods, all of which have a macro and micro effect on the biggest overall issue in our district, which is flooding and drainage. You can read my entire speech at bobnowak.org, N-O-W-A-K, bobnowak.org. I've lived in the neighborhoods of Braeswood, Montrose, Rice Military, and the Heights for 32 years. District C is my home, and I look forward to serving you. Now, in any election where we have an open seat, we attract a lot of good candidates. District C is no exception. Tonight is no exception. We can choose from lawyers or small business owners. But me, I'm a public servant. I've worked for you for 25 years. And in those 25 years, I've had 2 jobs with the city, but I've had 26 supervisors. I am your constant. I am your longtime, reliable city government employee. And I want to go for my 3rd and final job with the city and go from 26 supervisors to 211,000, which is the population of District C. And I give you 3 quick questions and answers. Am I qualified to be here tonight? Do I have the most unique background and experience to serve as your council member? And will I serve you to the best of my ability? Ladies and gentlemen, I am, I do, I will. I'm Bob Nowak, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much. Gladys House.
Yes. I'm a native of Freedmanstown 4th Ward in District C, of course. I worked very hard to obtain the largest historic district of its kind in America on Freedmanstown. I continue to work with a variety of communities throughout Houston and co-founder of the CDC of Greater Houston and work with different community groups on various concerns that they have. I've been going before City Council and the mayor for different administrations for decades, and more recently with the current mayor regarding the historic brick streets in Freedmanstown, and continue to be a watchdog for our neighborhood and throughout District C and throughout the city of Houston to present my 50-year plan, which is really a 100-year plan on corrective action to prevent flooding in Houston, to address this runaway bonding. Every election there's a bond issue, but yet taxpayers just don't see any relief. So I'd like to be given the opportunity to be on the other side of City Council. So Gladys House for District C, I appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Daphne Scarborough.
thank you. And I do appreciate the opportunity to be here and have the experience of reaching such a large audience. The League of Women Voters always does a great job. I am a lifetime Houstonian. I have had a business here for 37 years. So I bring a different set of tools to the horseshoe at City Council. Because being an active business owner, I negotiate, I go over contracts, I do fabrication, and I have an immense amount of knowledge about when you have money and when you don't have money, and spending. So I am running to utilize this experience. Plus, for the last 15 years, I've been extremely active on transit and special districts and taxation, and have represented our neighborhood and have really cared and stepped up to the plate and spoken often. Daphne for DistrictC.com.
Thank you. Abby Kamen.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us into the League of Women Voters, who they do so many extraordinary things in our community, and I'm very passionate about that. It's one of the reasons that I've proposed a Women's Equality Committee at the city to empower women and focus on those issues. And thank you to our viewers for being here. I am honored to have the current incumbent, Ellen Cohen's endorsement in this race, and she has endorsed me because of the qualifications that I bring to the table. I have served on the Mayor's Commission Against Gun Violence, introducing practical solutions to what the city itself can be doing to address gun violence now. As an attorney, I have fought and succeeded in getting children out of cages and immigrant detention centers here in Houston. I'm the former Associate Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League, where I worked closely with law enforcement, HPD, constables, and the FBI, as well as the community in combating extremism and hate groups. I'm also a delegate to our super neighborhood, where I worked to get increased patrols when we saw upticks in crime. I've also served at the state legislature as a committee director, pushing through critical legislation at the state level, and I've also served on the Hill. I believe that Houston is a place that should continue to be where families can thrive and business can grow. And I will bring energy and commitment and compassion to this seat. And we're not waiting to get to City Hall. We're already doing things like neighborhood office hours twice a month, where residents are coming and speaking to us and sharing their issues, and we're connecting them with city services. Abby Kamen for District C, and it's abbykamen.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Jane Smith.
Good evening, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. I am Mary Jane Smith. I'm a native Houstonian. I've lived in District C for probably 50 years. I was raised in Meyerland, and as a young adult moved to Montrose, where I married, and we were very active in the Neartown Civic Association. We started our family, and as the family grew, we moved to Braes Heights, where we have been now for 30 years. I've been very active also in the Braes Heights Civic Association. During this time, I started a small business where I was able to represent hundreds of clients and raise millions of dollars for many charities here in town. One of the opportunities I had was to serve on the Board of Catholic Charities and be chair of their development committee, raising, again, thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars for local charities. My husband and I have launched these 4 children, but I also launched a business, which I'd mentioned previously, and ran for over 20 years. I learned discipline. I learned to look at the bottom line. I learned to recruit the best, to work on the best, and I want to take those disciplines to City Hall with me. City Hall desperately needs good thinkers, people who are going to work outside the box sometimes to make our city a better place. I dream of a city where homelessness is no longer an issue. I dream of a city that is no longer recognized nationwide as the hub of human trafficking. I want a clean and safe city. I want our police and fire, our first responders to be well funded. I want our budget to be very transparent. We can do these things if we just elect the right people to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, Felix Cisneros.
Felix Cisneros, running for this district. The reason why I'm running for this district is because I moved in this district in 2002. Historical Fourth Ward. I am for preserving historics and the new construction that's coming in. I used to be a member of the Fourth Ward Redevelopment Authority that Bill White appointed me and Carol Alvarado, and I just want the best for this district. But whenever I cannot get no answers, I get frustrated. So I take it into my own hands and go knock doors and knock until I get an answer. So Felix Cisneros for District C.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for all of your answers. And now for the second question, we're going to have a student who is going to ask you a question, and we'll start over here whenever we come back. And here's the question.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Cabrera, an honors student at the University of Houston downtown. What made you want to run for City Council? Thank you, and good luck on the campaign.
Mr. Cisneros, we'll start with you.
To make this city better, to clean up this homelessness that we have, and these problems that we have with flooding. We just need new infrastructure, and you could see that we already started putting infrastructure in the historical Fourth Ward. That's the reason why I want to run for City Council.
Okay, thank you. Mary Jane Smith.
I retired from my business and had the time to look at what was happening in my city. And I didn't like what I saw. I saw spending way too much money. I saw trash not being picked up, our core services not being delivered. And I kept thinking about you, the forgotten taxpayer. You're getting stuck with these problems, and that's why I decided to run so I could bring new leadership to Houston City Council.
Okay, thank you very much. Abby Kamen.
I'm a fourth-generation Houstonian, but my first day of college in New Orleans was evacuation day for the city during Katrina. And I actually ended up in the Astrodome as the first buses of evacuees were coming in. And I witnessed firsthand what it looks like when government fails. And I'm committed that never again government fail the people that they are supposed to protect. And I'm committed that every resident in every neighborhood here in Houston have access to quality city services.
Okay, thank you very much. Daphne Scarborough.
I love Houston, and I'm from here. I've lived in the district since 1983. I have witnessed firsthand all of the rapid growth and the changes, and we need to keep Houston growing in a good way. We need to retain the character of our neighborhoods, and we need to have better transit, and we need more green space.
Okay, thank you very much. Gladys House.
To defeat taxation without representation, because no matter what community you are in throughout District C, we are often the last to know about issues or decisions made by the mayor and city council that will adversely affect our communities. So I feel that a change is truly needed. A voice for the people is unique down at City Hall now. So I feel that making a difference and fighting for so many years for all of the communities in Houston, that it's time for a change.
Okay, thank you very much. Bob Nowak.
Growing up at the dinner table, it was always me and my dad talking about politics and government, and he always wanted me to get into government. And when I found myself unemployed unexpectedly, first place I went was the city HR department, and I went week after week after week after week and finally got a job with the city. My dad got his appreciation for America and American government because he was fighting for the Polish underground in the Warsaw Uprising. And after the Poles surrendered, they all went to the prison camps, and they were beaten and starved, but they were liberated by the Americans. And my dad was less than 100 pounds when he was liberated. He couldn't walk anymore. He could only crawl to his freedom. And when he came to America, he never lost that love and appreciation for America and its government. Rubbed off on me, and he was really pretty happy when I called him that one day and said, "Dad, I got hired by the Chief of Staff of the Mayor of Houston."
Thank you. Rodney Hill.
Yeah, thank you. I was on the police department for so many years and had done so many different jobs and had respect to the officers. I was approached by Ray Hunt and the police union to try to run for this office because I was a flood survivor twice in Meyerland. And I'll just take a small example. I think Houston does a lot of things really well. And one of the things we did well was accept those people from New Orleans. And I was on the team that was out there first that got those people off those buses, got those guns and weapons away from them, and walked that dome for months trying to help those people get benefits in that process. And I'm very proud of that process.
Thank you. Greg Myers.
As we mentioned, a lot of candidates are interested, and I think we all have a passion. I think this is a testament to the love we have for our city, and I'm surely no exception. I started and ran a successful small business. As I mentioned, had the honor of serving on the Houston ISD board, but my passion lies around not making sure that we go by way of some of the urban cities that are facing some really distressing times in this country. Houston has a bright future. I want to bring my record of proven leadership to be a force in Houston. This is a job interview. I hope you look at each one of our resumes, each one of our records, and I know with your experience, with your intuitive sightness, you're going to choose the right person to represent District C.
Thank you. Michelle Gans.
Hi, guys. I'm running because I don't feel represented. And I bet I'm not the only one out there that does feel this way, you know? I'm running because I have a vision for the future of this city. I'm running because I want to amplify the voices of everybody else that doesn't feel heard. I'm running because I want to get a regular person at the table. We need a seat at the table, y'all. I mean, they're not working for us. They haven't been, not in my opinion. I'm affected by rising rents, just like a lot of y'all. When I went to talk to the firefighters, you know, I had one of them firefighters tell me he used to live down the street from me. And he said he had to move because he can't afford to live there anymore. Now, when our city is allowing the displacement of its heroes, we have a real problem about housing in this city. So we don't have to accept the status quo. Stand with me, and we will create a movement, and we will change the face of this city, and we will have our seat at the table, and we will create an inclusive place where we can show what America is supposed to look like. Sorry, guys, little nervous. Thank y'all for having me. Michelle Gans, District C.
All right, thank you very much. Now we'll turn to Shelley Kennedy.
Well, the short answer is I couldn't wait any longer. We have racism is at an all-time high. In our black and brown communities, HIV is on the rise. We have a climate crisis that we're not really doing everything we need to. That's true. Women's rights are being threatened from the top down. People with disabilities feel invisible. And when Harvey happened, the mayor was saying one thing, the county judge something else, and the Corps of Engineers released a lot of water and we lost senseless lives. At that point, I felt like Houston is going to rebuild and it's going to be very positive and we're going to do things right. And I wanted to join in on that on a positive note of rebuilding Houston, their streets, their infrastructure, helping solve Prop B where we have our police and firemen back together, and it's a happy time and the city's not divided. Shelley Kennedy, for the people, KennedyForHouston.com.
Thank you very much. Candelario Cervantes.
Well, you know what? I practice what I preach, and when I filed, I didn't see myself represented. So that's one of the big reasons. The other reason is that this role is really about elevating the voices of our community and actually doing what our community members say that they need and want to help inform the administration on the policies that are being designed, but also on the projects that are being executed. And what really did it for me was when I saw one of our community members go to City Hall and advocate in broken English to have her sidewalks cut back because she couldn't get by with her walker to get her groceries. And she said that she wanted people to stop calling her a stupid woman because she was in the road. And then I think what really did it was that she was advocating for her neighbors because she said, I'm fine, it's my neighbors that are in wheelchairs. So it should never get to that point where one of our community members has to go to City Hall to advocate for basic needs. So I love this district, I've grown up in this district, and I've been able to thrive in this district, and I want that for every single one of our community members, to thrive and reach their full potential, whatever that means.
Okay, thank you very much. And finally, Sean Marshall.
Thank you. I feel like City Council is a place where real change can be implemented. It's not only enable our district to continue the robust growth that it's seen over the last several years, but also to work with all of the stakeholders to ensure their best interests are considered at every juncture. Serving as a City Council member for District C would allow me to continue to give back to a community that has and continues to do so much for my family and I. I want to bring my experience, skills, and outside perspectives to the table to build coalitions and challenge the administration where appropriate, and to support it where it's making the best decisions for our district.
All right, thank you. You've all been very efficient with your responses, so we have time for a couple of extra questions. One of the questions I want to ask, and we'll start again with Mr. Marshall, you're going to be working for your district, and you have illustrated and illuminated us with some of the problems of your district. But the question is, you're going to be sitting in a room with other people who are concerned about their district. So how are you going to work together with people from across the city on City Council?
Absolutely. I find, and I continue to find, that when I was in college, we read a book, and it was called Culture War, and it reminds me a lot of kind of what Ms. Kennedy is talking about. We've become a nation and a city that's kind of divided, or at least it appears that way on the surface. But I think when you really talk to folks, you can find more things that are common between the two than you do find different. And so I think through discourse and dialogue, we can really find solutions that work best for not only District C, but also the other districts and the city as a whole.
Thank you. Candelario?
Yeah, so I actually have the privilege to do this as my full-time job, building coalitions across diverse lines of thinking. So after doing our American Leadership Forum training, we really focused on dialogue into action. And it's really about building those relationships across our council members, because at the end of the day, we need to look at the full picture of Houston, and it's really about setting a vision, a long-term vision and strategy that will outlive any administration, so that whenever the policies or priorities of that administration come in, they can actually fit into this long-term strategy that could actually meet the needs of our community members. And it's really working across Greater Houston to do that. And I think in District C, we have so many great institutions and organizations that if our community members knew about, they could actually help solve a lot of the day-to-day issues of our constituent issues, not only for our District C community members, but across Greater Houston. And in turn, we would help our organizations grow and expand because what they need are contact hours, and they need those contacts. But if our community members don't even know these organizations exist, how do we ever solve these issues? And I think this role is really well positioned to help connect those positions and break down the silos so that we can work and build bridges.
All right, thank you. Shelley?
Well, I think I stated this earlier. I'm a coalition builder, and a single council vote is really not worth a lot. You really need to be able to get your point across and have a relationship with the mayor, your council members, and most importantly, with your district. I know we're only required to have one meeting, town hall meeting a year, but I plan to have town hall meetings across the district and build coalitions with what's happening, because there's different things happening in different areas. So I'll be there, an open door, and building those coalitions, and also with corporations to bring in extra money to take care of our problems, help us with our budget. Shelley Kennedy for the people.
Thank you. Michelle?
Yes, I'm going to build alliances with anyone that has integrity. I don't care where they stand on policy, because we have to work through our differences. We have to talk and work with each other, and that's how we work through our differences, So I've already started making alliances with sitting council members if they win their elections, and I've already started making alliances with candidates in other districts that are running for their districts, and we're gonna really do some changing in this city, and we're gonna do something. If you elect the people that are of the people and for the people, we will come together and we will make a difference in this city, y'all.
Thank you. Greg.
Yeah, I think I mentioned I had the honor of serving on the Houston ISD board, and beyond being the only one in this race that's balanced a multi-billion-dollar municipal budget, I'm the only one that's served with a very diverse body. You know, many times people start at what divides us, and that really tears apart the fabric of any kind of coalition building. What we did in HISD is literally build on what makes us become here. What do we agree on? And you keep building, and that's how you form coalitions. You know, District C is a district that is the wealthiest district in the Houston city area. But unfortunately, it makes up only about 3.5% of the CIP. Those types of facts, those kinds of dialogue, that type of interaction with our community will help bring us together to focus on core needs and services.
Thank you. Rodney.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to flip it just a little bit. I believe that before I can build, and I am a coalition builder, I am a person that is a relationship person, and I have relationships all throughout the city that are still there that I can build on. But my primary goal is that if you have a problem in my district and you call, it's going to be taken care of. And I'm not only going to take care of it, but when it's taken care of, I'm going to follow down that line to see who did that work, and I'm going to give them letters of commendation. I'm going to go out there and talk to them because they need the support. It's a hard job. These jobs for the city workers they're thankless, and they don't make a lot of money. But I am a coalition builder. I believe in giving people a good work environment and praise for the work that they do. I'll build that coalition with those council people because I am a person that gets things done. If they want something done in my district or help, I got it. But primarily, if you're in my district, and my website is Facebook is Elect Rodney Hill, and I've got my whole personnel file is going to be downloaded, and we're going to get work done for the citizens.
Thank you. Bob.
It's almost my 21st anniversary as City of Houston webmaster, and as I've said before, I've served 62 council members and their staffs. So I look forward to upgrading myself and becoming a colleague with them. About 2 years ago, the incumbents in an article said that her office gets about 250 service requests from citizens every month, she and her staff of 4. I average about 160 a month, me and my staff of 0. I look forward to the upgrade.
All right. Gladys?
Yeah. My nephew plays for the Houston Rockets, and I love the theme, Run as One. And the council members, if we are really sincere about serving the city of Houston, the residents, the constituency of this great city, we will have to be a team as one and to work together and to kind of just dialogue and provide all of the expertise in our district to share it with another district on how they can address some of the issues. So we're going to have to just work together and come up with some ideas and move forward as one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Daphne.
Yes, I'm a proven product. 15 years ago, I formed a 501c3 coalition for our street to protect the neighborhoods, the businesses, and the landowners. It is still here today. And certainly Richmond Avenue is a very diverse street. I think in working with all of the other councilmen, all of our districts have the same common problems: financial issues, infrastructure issues, and flooding issues. And so that is where we all need to work together to remedy them. Thank you.
Thank you. Abby.
I love our city, and I don't believe that we're divided. I think Harvey showed us that, what our heart and our soul as a city is. But Harvey also means that we have a lot of work to do. And District C has White Oak Bayou, Brays Bayou, and Buffalo Bayou in it. What happens in C impacts other districts, and what happens in other districts impacts C. We have to work together, and I have the track record and experience working both inside and outside of government to build coalitions and get things done.
Okay, thank you very much. Mary Jane.
Yes. A couple of thoughts. Whoever of us is elected We've all met other great candidates here from different parts of the district with different political philosophies, different communities. And for myself speaking, if I'm elected, I'm going to call on all of these new friends to give me your advice. What do you think about this? I think it's a matter of keeping your door open, keeping your ears open, always being listening to new ideas. Don't be afraid of ideas. Sometimes compromise is going to be necessary when you're dealing with a body like the City of Houston, in order to reach perhaps not the best solution, but the almost best solution.
All right, thank you very much. And now, finally, Felix
Cisneros. Well, I think that all the council members need to get together and just brainstorm. We did it in the neighborhood where I live at. We had an HOA that was not working, and we all got together and we got rid of the HOA. We donated that money to the City of Houston, and we have done a lot of changes in historical Fourth Ward. At this time, we got brand new streets, brand infrastructure. In 2002, when I moved in there, the neighborhood was in very bad situation. But thanks to me and other members, we did changes.
All right, thank you. Now, we've got about a minute left each. So would you please tell us, and Felix, we'll start with you, where people can find out more about your campaign and one thing you'd like for the people to know about you, the voters to know about you.
Well, you can go into my website, and I usually use my business email address. It's felixthecat2004-2001 @yahoo.com, or you could call me on my cell number.
Okay,
thank you very much. Mary Jane.
Yes, my website, www.maryjanesmith4council.com, or my Facebook, Mary Jane Smith for City Council, or call me, 713-305-3072. I'm Mary Jane Smith for Houston City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Abby?
Yeah, you can go to our website, abbykamen.com. While you're there, you can read not just more about me, but also go to our pet peeves page where you can tell us what your neighborhood specific issue is. We're already researching those issues, connecting people with services, and making sure that people feel like they have a voice for the next council. And we also, I would encourage everyone to come out to our neighborhood office hours. Those dates are listed on our website as well. Come meet me, come talk with me, and share what your experience at the city is and what we need to do. Thanks.
Thank you. Daphne Scarborough.
I have a Facebook page, I have a Twitter page that you can access through my website, daphnefordistrictc.com. And I'm also known as the Brass Maiden. That's my business on Richmond Avenue. So people are always welcome to drop by and visit and talk there. And I think it's very important. Communication is the most important way for us to know what is really needed in the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Gladys House.
Although I've done a lot of community service work and recognized by the United Nations for such in 2012, I'm also a business owner. Affordable Carpets, doing business as Carpet Depot. And the email where you can reach me is the letter G as in go, carpetdepot@aol.com, or 713-742-6995. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob Nowak.
My website is bobnowak.org, N-O-W-A-K, bobnowak.org. The email is askbob@bobnowak.org, and down in the footer of the website you have the links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I also want to share with you one of my opinions that, thank you to Mary Jane for bringing this up, that if anytime there's a controversial issue that comes up, which really can be defined as 50% plus one is against it or for it, if whatever your opinion is of it now, think of what your opinion is going to be about 5 years from now. And if your opinion differs, then go with your opinion 5 years from now.
Okay, thank you. Rodney.
Thank you very much. You can reach me at my cell number, which is on my Facebook, Elect Rodney Hill. I am out in the community. I will be walking the neighborhood starting next week with information. I'll be knocking on doors. I'll be going to places where people congregate in the district. I have given 40 years service to this city. I got 2 Chief of Police commendations. I got a Lifetime Achievement Award for the police department. I am all about service, and you can trust me to do the work for you. And when you call, we'll answer, and we will fix whatever problem you have, bar none. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Greg Myers.
Thank you. You know, I've been honored. I've had the opportunity to walk and knock on over 5,000 homes. I've had the opportunity not to hold office hours, but to go to people that have requested my services. You know, we have very accessible. Our email is greg@gregmyersforhouston.com. Facebook, Greg Myers for Houston. My cell phone number is 713-398-8778.
All right. Michelle.
Yes. You can get my website at www.michellegans.com. I also have a Facebook, Gans for C. My email is michelle.gans@michellegansforthepeople.com. And my phone number is 281-662-5383. Please contact me. I will represent you. If you do not feel represented, if you have not been heard, I'm with you. I will hear you. I will represent you. Contact me.
Thank you. Shelley Kennedy?
Hi, my website is kennedyforhouston.com, and you can go to my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or you can stop at my donate button. But we're here to serve. My cell phone number is listed on there. It's the same one my grandkids call me on, and I'm going around the community getting things done already. If you've noticed the stop or the walk, the light that goes across Shepherd, where Jesse Perez and Alicia Adams were killed while they were trying to cross the street. She was helping him. He was in a chair. And there was the actual bus stop was in a terrible position. And anyway, I've met with the mayor, Link, Metro, different organizations. That's been changed, and there's a crosswalk there 3 months later in honor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Candelario Cervantes.
Yep, so our website is Candelario for Houston, and you can reach us also as #CC for District C. So that'll take you to all of our social media platforms. I think one of the biggest pieces about me is that you're going to get someone that has built his career and chosen a profession and making sure that our communities reach their full potential. And I'm very much committed around building a city for the future, not for the present. A lot of times people say our kids are our future. I say our kids are our present, and their voices are powerful. So I think that is something that I will also bring in, that lens of how do we actually build the future, build the city for our kids and not for the adults. Another big piece that's going to be really differential for me is I'm going to really leverage our principals that probably know our communities better than many of us. They work with our parents, they work with our kids, they work in community, and really elevating their voices to help inform our strategies to make a better city. So it's CandelarioForHouston.com.
All right, thank you. And Sean Marshall.
Yes, the best place to find out more information about me currently is my LinkedIn page. My team and I are in the process of getting our website and social media accounts up and running and hope to have things situated in the next week or so. The web address will be votefordistrictc.com, but in the meantime, you can send me an email at seanpmarshall@outlook.com.
All right, very good. I want to say a thing. We have a couple of seconds here, and I heard all of you talk about different issues, and it seems like one of the big issues, and I'm sure this is true, right, is flooding in Houston. And District C, I think, is no exception. But let's remind the voters, what are some of the issues that District C is facing? And you just, shout out something. Yes.
In the Meyerland area, the city came in and gave us new drainage, told us we were going to lower our flood insurance because they lowered the streets, made them mini bayous, and they doubled and sometimes tripled the size of the drains, but they didn't coordinate with Harris County to be able to put more water in the bayous, so it hit a pipe that had not been increased. We flooded for 4 times some of my neighbors in 3 years because of the drainage issue with the city on that process. And we're being told now we still can't put more water in the bayou because we need to buy a golf course or a large piece of property to build a detention pond from flood mitigation. And quite frankly, that's unacceptable.
We have to make sure that the city has sidewalks. Parts of our district don't have sidewalks. Those that do are oftentimes in disrepair, and that's the case across the city. We need to make sure that children can walk safely to and from school, that individuals with disabilities can move with ease throughout our city. And we're about to move forward on the November ballot for Metro Next. And if we're going to be expanding public transportation, which is critical, we also need to make sure that people can walk and get to our public transportation.
Greg, were you going to?
Yeah, please. You know, I think all of us agree that flood mitigation, infrastructure, and public safety are very critical issues that are facing the city. And it's important that we start focusing on our core services and needs. But the only way to do that truly is to focus on budget. If we can't get our budget correct, we're going to have a very difficult time attaining some of these solutions, whether it's sidewalks, whether it's flood mitigation efforts that the city is responsible for, or any public safety shortages that are there in the city.
I would also say it's actually being very creative and thinking around how are we ensuring the heads of departments are actually talking with each other as we're doing these projects. So a lot of the projects, public work projects, could help with flood management, because we're really talking about flood management because Houston's going to flood. And it's really around like how do we actually best are prepared to handle that. But also I think one of the big pieces that we are ignoring is our public safety. Many lives were lost, right? If we're not preparing for the next flood to help make sure that our community members are safe, are we actually doing our job?
Felix.
Yes, but I'm just looking because I live so close to Allen Parkway, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist that when our bayous are not clean, once they clean them, the water flows okay, and we won't get flooded. Can I say something to my people, los hispanos? Can I speak in Spanish?
Sure.
Para los hispanos, por favor, voten por Félix Cisneros para la comunidad C, porque yo quiero hacer cambios para nosotros, porque para mejorar nuestras vidas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me, Michelle, you had a question.
Yes, I think housing, homelessness, and the loss of diversity in District C. While the rest of the city gains diversity, District C loses it. We are losing everyone who's not white and Asian. We are losing our low and middle income families. We are losing diversity while the rest of the city gains it. This is a big deal. We also have homelessness. It's a real big issue in our district. And the housing issue is a big issue.
Okay. Mary Jane?
Homelessness, and I would ask everyone to check out buildforzero.com. Other cities have totally eliminated homelessness. Houston has over 100 different agencies that provide funding, support staff to try to do this, and we've made dents in it, but we can do much better. Build for Zero.
Thank you. Gladys?
Yeah. Gentrification of that's going on throughout District C, it sort of touches on what Michelle said earlier. And disparities. There is a list of disparities that exist. The affluent people may not feel it, but I see it every day in my neighborhood and throughout certain pockets of poverty, if you will, of District C. So those are some issues that you really don't hear much talk about, and that needs to change.
Okay, and I've got 2 more real quick, and then I'm at the wrap up. So let me go ahead and get you to, what do you think is the big issue? We're not even touched on?
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure you were talking to me. Yes, the biggest issue is our infrastructure. We need to fix the pipes under the street so we can fix the streets. In District C, it doesn't matter if you're on Buffalo Speedway or you're going down Westheimer or you're on the streets between Alabama and Westheimer. We are sorely, sorely overdue on getting those streets completed.
Okay, and Shelley, real quick.
Dangerous intersections throughout District C. There's been quite a few deaths, and I would like to see Houston a walkable city, but that's really not possible until we get our intersections cleared up.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you all tonight for coming out, not only to Houston Media Source here to answer our questions, but also to let us learn a little bit more about you so we can be informed voters. Every year, the League of Women Voters of the Houston area publishes its Voters Guide, and this year is no exception. The guide poses a set of questions to candidates, and it's candidates for Houston City Council, Mayor, Comptroller, HISD, and HCC Board. Those will be ready for distribution in mid-October before early voting begins. It'll be in print as well as on our website, lwvhouston.org, and on the League's 411 app. It'll also be available in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, or Chinese. We're also going to have a handy-dandy voter's guide to answer a lot of questions. You know, there's a new voting in process. People can vote anywhere across Harris County, not just at a specific location. And so those types of questions and others are going to be addressed in that voter's handy-dandy guide. That's really the name of it. I'm not just saying it's handy-dandy. That's the name. So thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, we are celebrating still. Monday, October 26th, was Women's Equality Day to commemorate the adoption of the 19th Amendment in 1920. For the League of Women Voters of the Houston area, I'm Gene Preuss. Thank you very much for watching.
Okay, y'all are clear.
All right. Okay. Hey, before we go, let me take a picture with everybody.
You want us to stay here?
Yes, please. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. You can unmic yourselves. And thank you.
It's somber. Like, oh my God.
I appreciate it. You guys made it happen.
From years past.
Thank you very much. Good luck. Good luck to you all.
Great night. I have to dip out and go.
Thank you very much.